Welcome, Greater Heartland KW family, whoever else might be joining us today. And my name is Clark Kendall, serve as a regional technology trainer. You're here for Ignite Session 6, and we're focused on the database, the all-important database. I'm excited about this subject as it's so important, yet I am unbelievably excited to have Phil on with us here today. Phil, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
Awesome. And Phil, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Philip Graves from Wichita, Kansas, the Signature Partners Office, and I'm going to be your tour guide today for the database. I am a Keller Williams University approved trainer, which means hopefully I won't suck too bad. And I've been on the ALC I'm not on it this year, but I've been on it for 3 to 4 years, been to bowl like probably 6 times now. So definitely drink the Kool-Aid here at KW, and I love the database. So that's why I am helping you guys through today's class.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you for sure. And whoever might be watching this right now, it's in probably one of a few capacities. One, you're in your market center right now, and you're watching live based on the schedule we have within the region that we're watching together. Right? Or you might be by yourself, at home or on the go somewhere watching live, or post this is going live. You could be actually watching the recording here. So either way, we welcome you, and we trust that as this is reignited, we got some new pieces of content, yet there are still the tried and true fundamentals that we know will spark your career, especially as it relates to the database. So welcome. If you're in the market center, lean into your peers, the facilitators there as well. And yet, if you're watching outside of your market center, still encourage you to participate. We'll mention several times, include things in the comments section for your ahas or action items you want to take, or definitely bring your questions. We want to be able to see those too. So we'll respond to those at a time later. Yeah. So we're ready to go here. We are here for session 6, grow your database. And yet before we start talking about that, where are we at on our Ignite journey here? We're focused on lead generation, the second phase of this whole overview of a course. And we're specifically talking about how to get leads through your database, people that already know, like, and trust you. Yet before we get into this, as always, we want to bring in the all-important opportunity of not only receiving content that you're getting today and in previous sessions. I want to check in on that daily success system. Having those 10 conversations, real estate conversations a day, and adding 10 to your database. Writing 10 notes, and the social media daily 10-5-1. Right? Those are the new success system for Ignite. How are you doing with that? We'll check. Maybe turn to your peer there in the market center if you're there, and give them a thumbs up, thumbs down, maybe a sideways thumb, and maybe follow a conversation there. Also, from session 2, you had an accountability partner. How's that going? Right, maybe it's a text you want to send to them real quick. Maybe you've sent those texts and they've gone unanswered, and you might be looking for a new accountability partner. Hopefully there's no awkward folks staring at each other in the market center right now, but that's an opportunity for you to make this impactful for your business. Don't just take the content, say, oh, that was good, not making it infotainment, right? We're going to get the daily success systems and get you some business. So always want to lead into that. We don't want to forget about that because that's what is going to drive your success for your business as you ignite it. Well, Phil, I'm ready to go, man. How about you?
I am ready to roll, my friend.
All right, let's go through the agenda, man.
All right. Well, we are in session 6. Honestly, the database is my favorite parts of Ignite. This is probably the 3rd iteration of Ignite that I've taught. I'm old school enough that I taught like the original version, or at least what was original in 2015. I've been licensed for, I guess now hit my 7th year in the business. Mm-hmm. I feel like real estate years is dog years. So I really have been in the business 35 years. No. Is it 7 years for dog years?
7 years, yep.
It's like 49 years. So I'm an old veteran.
I feel that way.
Yeah, like I love the database, like sessions 6 and session 12, especially session 12, because that's where the fun begins. Mm-hmm. Session 6, we do the work to build the database. Without it, nothing else matters. Yeah. You get to session 12, so that's why you want to keep attending the sessions of Ignite. You get to the fun part where you get to go have parties with people, and that is doing your lead generation. He doesn't like to party. Clark, you like to party, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Party. Yes, you get to party, and that makes the business fun. I know sometimes we get hung up on the things that aren't as fun, but we have to do that part first bring you to the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
But, even building a database to me is the fun part, because to me, it's not as hard as going out and knocking on doors, calling leads that don't know you from the next guy, calling FSBOs and for sub owners. I'm calling people that I know. They already know Phil Graves. So they're more willing to, have a conversation with me. Again, like I said, I'm from Wichita, Kansas. The wind's been blowing 100 miles an hour, so my allergies are at a 10. So if I have a cough or if I sound congested, that's because, Kansas is being Kansas today. Very typical. So who are my facilitators out there in the market centers? Raise your hand. We're going to need your help today, because I am in an office, or my home office here in Kansas. I'm not with you in your market center. Clark's in, I think, St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This where I put a plug for Go Cardinals.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They like the Cardinals around here a little bit. Sure.
Sorry, Royals fans. I still like you, but I'm a Cardinals fan. But yeah, so facilitators, I need your help. You're the eyes and ears in the classroom. You're going to help make sure that your people are staying engaged. And if you're a student in this, the more you participate, the better you're going to be. I think they say how you participate in here is how you participate everywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's true. So give the old college try here and just, be engaged in your market center and the material, and that'll help you to grow your business. So like I said, I've been licensed since 2015, coming up on my 7th year. I'm in a market center. I think we're up to 330 agents. In 2019, I was a number 4 agent in GCI, number 5 in closed units. 2020, throughout the pandemic and having a baby and all that fun stuff, I was still in the top 10. And then I've made a transition in my business, doing some more commercial investment. And I was number 4 commercial guy in 2021. And I'm angling to be at the very top again here in 2022. And it all comes back to the database. And I've been a Keller Williams approved trainer since 2019. So I got my wonderful certificate. Hey, you're an approved trainer. And then I go to family reunion, have a baby, and then this world shuts down. Yeah. So I've been teaching a lot over Zoom, which is not as fun as in person, but it's still a good time, and we're going to have a good time here today. Okay, so question. Who does open houses? Raise your hand. My guess is 90% of you are raising your hands. All right, who does door knocking? I don't know, 40%. Who's calling leads? Who loves leads? We all love leads. Who's calling Zillow? Maybe still. Realtor.com. How about command leads? I know Clark loves those, and they're cheap. You know what? All those are great. But if you don't have a database, you probably make more money working at Walmart being a door greeter. And that's the honest truth. Because if you don't have a place to put all those leads that you're generating, a place to follow up, to stay in touch with, you're going to lose them. You're going to forget who to call them. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see a sign in your best friend's yard from another real estate agent putting their house for sale. They're going to be talking about it on social media. And you're going to be like, I hate this job.
It's the worst.
This is a great job. I mean, but you get out what you put into it. And the database is the most important piece, because you can hold all the open houses you want, knock on all the doors you want, pay for all the leads that who knows if you're following up on. And if you do follow up on them, it still doesn't matter, because you don't have a place to keep track of your conversations, the appropriate contact information. How are you going to follow up with them down the road? How are you going to have parties with them? Right, Clark?
Right.
Exactly. So that's why our database isn't so important, because it helps it's a container that we can capture leads into. It's called our database or data bank. You might have heard that phrase. And then we can leverage that database to cultivate it into cash down the road. And some other classes that I teach on the database, I always like to start off the class by saying, hey, raise your hand if you'd like to wake up on January 1st and know exactly how much you're going to make that year. And everybody's like, yes, I would love to. It all starts with your database and the number of people in your database. Because we used to teach, and I don't know, Clark, I know they've been changing stuff around, but the 12-to-2 ratio. For every 12 people in your database, you'll get 2 pieces of business. Sometimes a referral, sometimes an actual person saying, I got to buy or sell. So if you just use a 6-to-1, because that's obviously the fraction, 12-to-2, for every 6 people in your database, you should get 1 piece of business.
Sure can.
So then it's a numbers game. How many people can you get in your database? And that's going to tell you how many deals you've got. And you take your average commission, boom, there you go. You know exactly how much you're going to make. And if you stay in touch with them and you follow the success systems all the way through the end of this Ignite, you're going to be staying in touch with them 36 times a year or more, and you're going to make that money.
True.
Because the database and those people you stay in touch with are going to keep giving you business. Because otherwise, you got to keep calling FSBOs, right? They're not going to call you. You got to keep holding open houses. But if you stay in touch with the database, they'll call you. And when you get a come list me, that's the best phone call you can ever have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I just had one of those 2 weeks ago. I was like, sure, I'll list your house. Not a problem. So the database is just super, super important. And so today we have, 3 simple goals. This isn't a difficult class today. We're going to identify the key information that we need for each contact to have in our database. We're going to determine the categories or segments of the contacts in our database. And then you're going to end it by building your business by talking to your sphere of influence for referrals. Is that easy? Clark, do you like easy?
Oh, I love easy.
Or do you like to just slug through it and hate life?
No, easy button, please.
Easy button, I know. So the database, everybody is always looking for that easy button in real estate. The database is the easy button. It's really the best source to go get, business. All right. So we're in the whole smart data bank part of today's agenda. And we're going to kind of go in deep in how to bring you new, repeat, and referral business from database. And we'll kind of start with the big picture of what is the database and why should it matter to your business. All right, so database, it's you can call it a container, you can call it device, whatever you want to, but it's basically a place that has all the contact information for your leads and your contacts, and we can distinguish people differently based on the permissions that we have to connect with them. So, Clark, we have 2 things that we usually have in a database. Sometimes we have leads and we have contacts. Are leads contacts, Clark?
Yes and no. That's kind of a tricky one there.
It's a trick question.
Yeah.
Yes, they are contacts, but I wouldn't call them a true Met contact. But, in the older night, we'd call them Mets and haven't Mets. Mets are the people that, we'll start with non-Mets. So like leads that come in from command or an open house lead, they're still, I would call a haven't met, right? They don't really know you if they just saw you at Quick Trip. You have Quick Trip in St. Louis?
Yep, sure do.
Okay, Quick Trip's amazing. If someone saw me in Quick Trip and had a conversation, I consider that a contact. If they looked at me with a blank face, that's what you call a haven't met, right? So leads are people they've expressed interest in a service or offering a year from social media, open house. They've called in because you had a Zillow lead or Realtor.com lead or a command lead, or maybe word of mouth. They've heard your name or seen your yard sign, but you haven't established that relationship with them, right? Those are leads. Leads we want to funnel into our database and then take those haven't mets and bring them to become mets. Clark, who would you consider a contact?
Oh, yeah. A contact. I mean, again, removing command out of the conversation, like we're talking about this model, right? It's somebody that I'm in communication with, right? I'm reaching out to them and they're reaching back out to me. We're in 2-way conversation.
Yeah, and typically, you'd have their permission to follow up. And we hear this term a lot, sphere of influence, SOI. What that really means is, again, people that know you. For an example, people that I play tennis. So people that I play tennis with every week, those people know me. They're contacts. Friends of my kids, parents, family, people you go to church with, all those people considered, what you consider contacts. They know you, hopefully like you, trust you. The leads are the people that come in from open houses, online leads, door knocking, etc. Yeah. And so we kind of have those 2 different people in our database. And our whole goal is to build the contacts part, the Mets, the true sphere of influence, or bring people from leads over to being a true contact. Yeah. So we have our database defined. Which part of the lead generation and database model represents your database? Clark, what do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think on the onset, right? Like we see this as like, this is complex. If I haven't seen this before, like, oh my goodness. I don't know.
Is this like Einstein's model or something in relativity?
Right. But let's kind of break this down, right? Which part of the lead generation and database model represents your database, right? So I'm thinking this through. If we're talking leads and contacts, I'm picking out on that as I'm looking over here on mine. It's right there in the middle, right after I've kind of captured, I put them into somewhere. And so I'm looking at that key piece there, that leads and contacts.
Yeah, it's that relationship management piece of it, right? You've done your lead gen, you've had that conversation with your coworker or past friend that, hey, I'm in real estate, blah, 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 or you've gotten a lead from Facebook that you've developed a relationship with, and then they're in that contacts area, your strengthen relationships. Now, later on, you'll get to cultivate the contacts as you go through this Ignite series to really bring in new and repeat and referrals. But we're really kind of in that strengthening relationship mode in this whole model. Now, Clark, I would like to go back to slide 11 real fast.
Sure.
Because I wanted to talk about this because this quote is from Gary Keller, GK. If he says it, you can't be wrong. From the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it says, your database is your business. Building up the number of names in it and a relationship with those names is really the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. That said, if you want to know the key to real estate, this slide right here in that quote. So I want you guys to write that down. We'll leave this slide up for just a few more seconds. Just grab it with your phone, take a picture or write it down if you're old school, and just put that on your wall. Because if you keep that in front of you every single day, it's going to become important to you.
Yeah.
Now we get to command, right? So command is an example of a database. There's different, so I think what Gary always says, what is the best database to use? The one you will actually use.
It's true. Yep.
And KW has built a really good platform that's, I can say now, is actually really smooth, right? Did it have some hiccups early on? We can all admit that.
Yeah.
But it helped us get to where we are now, and it's a really cool tool. I use Command. I don't use another system. I had another one for a while, and then I got rid of it, saved the money, and I'm fully integrated into Command. So it's just your end-to-end platform for running and growing your business, right? It's you can keep track of your names and contact information. You can set yourself tasks or follow up with your database. It's a really cool tool. Clark, what kind of comments do you have on this particular part of Command and how it works as a great database?
Goodness, yeah.
Without preaching, I know we all hear it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I poured my heart and soul, into this for the past 3 years, right? So you're right. Just with any new piece of tech, it's got its growing pains, and heck, you look at the iPhone and what that was when it first came out, and now it's just a staple in our lives. So. The intent of our tech, is to keep our agents, where they need to be, exactly where they need to be at the center of the transaction and relationship with their clients and future clients. And we want to do that as of course, as efficient as possible. And of course, at no additional cost for them. Right. So, but the reason why, getting back to this is a database. Yeah. It's any system that you're committed to using. I think the biggest challenge is that, we might have other things that we could use, and we have Command for free. But I think the challenge is developing good habits and understanding around what this can be and committing to it.
Yeah, and if you're taking a break from Command because you started early and there was bugs, I invite you to come back to Command.
Yeah.
Because it is such a smoother platform now, and it runs really efficient, and it's a really great tool. And the market's shifting, Clark. Things have been a lot tighter. Things have been more difficult. And with all the changes coming down the pike, this business could get even more difficult. And Gary always says, prepare for the market that's coming, not the one that you're in. And I think we still have to follow the shift mindset from the shift book. What expenses can we cut? What are the ones that we should keep? And having a great system that's free 99, you can drop your other CRMs that are costing, whether it's $50, $100, $200 a month, maybe even looked at shifting your leads if you shift your mentality around the types of leads and save yourself some money and still grow your business. And if you have, reach out to Clark or your own market center tech trainer. Maybe your tech trainer is the one in the room facilitating right now. Wave your hand. That's you, right? Talk to that person, go to them first. And then if you have questions, they'll help you take it up the chain to find out the answers if they don't have it.
Yeah.
Mark's a good dude, so it's worth a phone call if you need it.
Thanks, man.
All right, so we're in the 4 laws of the database. Well, you have build it, you got to feed it every day, you got to communicate it with it systematically, and then you got to service the leads that come your way, right? And that's the key, right? We talked about what a database is. We've talked about where's it fit in the whole lead funnel. We've talked about command, but when it comes down to it, these are the 4 laws. And if you follow these, you're going to be just fine. And we're going to dive into each of these 4 laws here for the rest of our time. And hopefully you'll come away with a really good process to building your database.
Yeah.
So let's just take a couple minutes with your leaders there in the room. We're going to take just a couple minutes break here on our end so you guys can go back. And I want you guys to give some ahas. We always say at least 3 ahas. Maybe you can do 5. I believe in you guys. About kind of what you heard so far. Maybe you're like, hey, I've been doing this a long time, but maybe you learned something new. What can you do to help someone newer in your market center understand these better, right?
Yeah.
How can you give back and help your fellow agent become better at the database? Because we all have something to share. We all have something to learn. I've been in the business 49 years, 7 years, but I can still provide some helpful feedback to an agent who's been there for only 1 or 2 years, right? How can I help them grow? Always think, how can you help see someone else succeed? And use this aha time to ahas for yourself and help other people succeed. And we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Trust that you shared those ahas with one another and enrich somebody else and giving them some insight there. So we're going to move on along here again in our agenda. The next little marker on our timeline today: build your database. Bill,
Yes.
you've already introduced the 4 laws. We're going to dive into those.
Law 1. If it's the law, it's got to be like it's serious, right? You got to follow it. It's not a suggestion, it's a law.
Mhm.
Like a stop sign, it's not a suggestion. You actually have to stop.
That's right.
Anyways, so here we are. We're building a database, right? At a minimum, we should have some certain information on your database. Now, if I was in your room with you right now, I'd blank out the screen. I'd have you guys tell me, what do you think you need to have? Obviously, the screen gives you the notes right here in front of you, so a little bit of a cheat sheet. But I call this the core four, right? You can put a lot of things in your database, but if you don't have the core four, kind of up a creek without a paddle. I grew up in the South, and that was a phrase we used to say, and I think it applies here. Name, phone number, email, and address.
Yes.
Core four. Have those. You can build in the rest later. And you can have conversations to get some more information around a contact to fill out your database.
Yeah.
If you
Phil,
need,
I would add there that, I mean, I know
Good.
we'll probably get a little bit into this, but just having that core four, I love the terminology there. You'll find immense leverage in command, right? And as you add more, you'll be able to have more leverage in automation and automatic communication. That core four will get you a long way.
Now, Clark, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Yeah, command has the entries for name, phone number, email, and address.
Mhm.
What are some other things that people could add in their database that command has fields for?
Oh yeah. Encourage if you have the opportunity for home anniversary. There's actually a smart plan that works really well with that. And I would say on that, a fun little tip thing that people have kind of grabbed onto on that, even if they're not your past client. If you happen to have tax records that has sales dates, I go and research that, especially if they're in your sphere. How well does it communicate you being their realtor of choice? If you even didn't sell their home, you're celebrating their home anniversary. Like, hey, you've been in your home 5 years. It's really, really cool. So home anniversary, birthday for sure. And I mean, yeah, we can definitely put the home address in there, but what you're actually able to do is you have those core pieces in. We've talked a lot about Ford and having those Ford conversations. You can create a
Let's
custom.
talk about Ford. So if someone doesn't know what Ford means other than a truck, an F-150, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, Ford is just an acronym that stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? It's a blueprint for how to have a conversation with the contacts. You can pull more information out of them that you can then put that info into command as data fields. And it helps you stay in touch with them later because you can reference a phone call. So, yeah, you said your son just got a job. How's that going for him? Or how's the new baby? That's the life I'm living right now. It's fun. They said kids are a blessing. So, yeah, but if someone called and checked on me, look, my doctor does not call me and say, dude, you've got a 3, 2, and 6-month-old. How's your life going right now? No, they say, okay, here's your appointment. Now we'd like to take your money. My insurance agent, here's your money, send us your money. We might take care of your held-ins on your roof. But they don't call and say, how's your life doing, right? So if we follow that forward conversation when we're talking to people, we can not only make sure we have all core four correct, but we can build out more information. Yeah. Now, he talked about home anniversary. So what's fun about that? Well, like I said, you usually to compliance a file to get paid, because we all like to get paid, we have closing documents. Closing documents tell you the date the home closed. So I would say spend some time every day, especially if you haven't entered your past clients in a few years. Go back into Dotloop, whatever it is you're using, access those closing documents, and start putting in the home anniversary. Absolutely. Oh, what else does it have on there? Well, if you had a listing, it tells you who the buyers were who now live in that home. Chances are their agent hasn't been staying in touch with them, because most agents like to say that they're going to do it and they never do. So be the agent that actually does it. You might pick up some orphan clients. They're going to say, man, that guy wished me happy home anniversary, but my agent who helped me didn't. And all of a sudden they have a life event and they got to sell. Who are they going to call? Maybe the person who's been staying in touch with them, even if it wasn't the person that helped them with the transaction. Especially if it was smooth and you were playing nice with the other agent and there was a good relationship and both of your clients could actually sit across from each other at the closing table and shake hands. They're going to remember how smooth that was and how great it was to work with you, even though you are not representing their best interest. How much would you work for them now when their best interests are at heart or at stake? Well, think of that. And happy birthday. So if everybody's like, you got to make your calls, got to make your contacts. I think you're on 10 calls a day right now?
Mhm.
Clark, success
Yep.
system. Who
Yep.
doesn't want a happy birthday call? And so what if they don't answer? They saw that you had a missed call from Phil Graves. They'll remember he's in real estate. He wished me happy birthday. That's cool. It's just about being top of mind, right? That's the whole goal of the database. And so that's an easy way to make a phone call. So if you have, people are like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say when I call other than, yeah, this is Phil. Are you going to sell your house tomorrow? That doesn't work, right? Say, hey, it's Phil. Just wanted to say happy birthday. Hope it's going well for you. Or, hey, happy home anniversary. Hope the home's been great for you and fit, family needs. And you know what those needs were from you when you sold the house. You can reference some of those, is the pool working out great for the kids, etc. That's an easy phone call, right? And you're only calling them once a quarter, so you've already knocked out your past clients. You got 2 calls knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you want the easy button, right, Clark?
That's right. That's right.
So didn't mean to get off on too much of a tangent there and steal some future slides, but it's important to have those forward calls so you know how, because you can take notes in command. Is that right, Clark?
Yes, absolutely. You can.
Yeah. So you have the ability to sit down after the phone call, type some notes out, and then you remember what to ask them the next time you talk to them. It's a really cool tool. That's why I think command is definitely one to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're talking about builder database. Here's a little slide that kind of gives an example of what a contact page looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And over to the side, you can see where you can create a smart plan to stay in touch. So you can automatically remind yourself to make that call in 3 months. You can remind yourself to put them, or is there a smart plan for home anniversary, which will, you can send them a postcard ahead of time, remind you to make a phone call. You can send a text to them. All kind of fun things you can do with this database.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
It's much better than keeping your stuff in an Excel spreadsheet, right? But yeah, it's a great tool. You can import command or contacts into command. Clark, has that gotten easier now to import contacts?
Yeah, it sure has. As of 3 weeks ago, we got a brand new import wizard. Like it's a tool, right? There's not an actual wizard. It feels like a wizard's doing it, though. It's really awesome.
Magic wand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
it was a complicated spreadsheet, but again, command is different now, and you should give it a try because I think it just makes it a lot more streamlined to get your contacts in there. Because, like I said, okay, maybe I want to use command, but how do I get them in there? Well, there's the wizard now. You can pull them from your phone, from your spreadsheets. If you've exported them out from other databases, it's a great, easy way to get them into command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and a way to jumpstart, because then you'll see what missing information you have, and hey, let's make a phone call and find out what's happening with it.
Yeah.
Clark, how do you get help if you're confused on trying to get your database into command?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want the fastest answer, right? We're in real estate. Sometimes we want fast answers because I have other things to go to attend to. Answers.kw.com. You have categories at the bottom of that page that you can go to. So if you're looking for command, you can click on command. And then if you're looking for contacts and all the articles corresponding to the contacts, you can see it listed those. Or there's a search bar at the top. You're looking for adding a contact or creating custom fields, because I like that idea of putting the forward conversation as a custom field. Just go to answers.kw.com. The articles there, they're absolutely amazing. Paul and Bryce, I'm going to give them a shout out if they happen to be watching this. They're amazing. They're the ones who create those articles. Thank you, gentlemen, because it's a number one tool as mine as a tech trainer. Because if I'm being transparent, there's things in command that I might not visit maybe once a month, right? So it's not a big habit of mine. Even me as a tech trainer, been doing this for 3 years, to refresh answers.kw.com is open a lot for me. So please use it.
Very cool. And Clark, you love getting phone calls after 10. I'm just kidding. That's what your local market center tech trainer is for. Call them.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Look, go to the answer stuff, try to find on your own, then go up the chain.
Yeah, we got a good crew of market center tech trainers. Shout out to them as well. That's our crew. We get to hang out a few times a week and talk about how to best train our agents and, of course, our leadership. So lean into them. They're ready and eager to help. They have hearts for it.
Well, Clark, let's keep rolling through. We'll do some ahas after this next section. Law number 2.
All right.
Feed it every day. Man, so what is it? We're obviously giving real food to it, but I like to think of like Cookie Monster. He just like chows down and shoves them in his face.
Uh-huh.
Think of that when you're feeding your database. Just what does it mean to you, Clark, when you're feeding your database?
Yeah. I love what you said earlier, right? If you want to know how much you want to make, look at your contacts. And if you're not there, or you want to grow your business, then you need to grow an amount of contacts, amount of sphere names in your database. So that's one way, right? But also feeding with more data. You might just have a name and a phone number from your phone. Well, then you can also feed it with the core four, with the home anniversaries, and feeding it with those contacts with data, extra additional data points.
Yeah, it's when you feed it, I think Gary used to always say this, or Gary and Jay from the stage was, we want to be prospecting based
Mm-hmm.
and marketing enhanced.
Yeah.
Gosh, what does that mean? Well, most agents think I'm just going to go run ads and my business is going to magically happen. It's easier for you to go print a postcard and run a few ads than it is to actually somehow get into the conversations every day. But if you're marketing based and prospecting enhanced, I think Walmart's hiring right now. So if you're prospecting based, that means you're talking to your people, you're having real conversations. And I know that's not cool these days. I know, Clark, I'm 42. I'm probably over the hill to half the agents out there. But this still works. I know we love to text. We love to send Facebook messages, and those work when people answer their phone call. But this still works.
Mm-hmm.
The phone, right? Those conversations are really going to help you out. And that's what we call prospecting based. You're talking to people. You're doing open houses, door knocking, whatever it is. And marketing, then you run your ads. Then you buy your leads, you send out your postcard, you market yourself. But you want to be in that prospecting business where you're actively seeking leads and building relationships or conversations. And it's cheap, right? It doesn't cost me anything to dial the phone because my phone plan I'm already paying for and it's tax deductible. But dialing the phone doesn't do it. There's no extra charge for that, right?
Right.
I remember when cell phones first started, yeah, it cost you for every dial and text message. But now it's all free, right? So just make the call. Because it saves you money. In marketing, it's more of a pathway to help you feed your database, get your information out there on social media, et cetera. But we want to be prospecting based.
That's right.
So what is the value of your sphere? Your sphere will generate new repeat and referral business. So you've got in this model here, you've gone through the strengthening relationships part, then you've cultivated them through conversations, and you start to get referrals and leads.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply you're building your database can be accomplished economically by asking everyone who might benefit from your services and may have an immediate real estate need. It's not hard. New business comes from when someone in your sphere begins thinking about buying or selling. Repeat business comes from clients you've helped in the past who are ready because you've done great service. They want to use you again. And the referral means that they know you're a great real estate agent. They tell your friends or family that you've got to use this guy. Don't use the person you've been talking to. Use Phil Graves. Because Phil Graves is the best. And honestly, in Wichita, Kansas, Phil Graves is the best. So if you have a referral, I love to pay referral fees. And I will take care of your people like they were my parents, who will help you 20 grand over all cash offers. So again, I know what I'm doing in this market. It's a contact sport right now, Clark.
It is.
Contact sport. It's not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, anything Wichita, Kansas, hey, there's my little shameless plug. But I help a lot of referral people. I'm really good at it. And that's another piece, right? Agent to agent referrals. Get to know agents from other market centers because you see those Facebook boards, hey, who do you know and so.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody chimes in. Well, you've already built that relationship, they'll at least call you first. Or other agents may start saying, well, you got to call Phil because he's a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
So database just isn't other people. Think of it in the referral business with other agents.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's 25%. You don't have to do anything to send it out. And when you're getting it, I'd happily pay 25% because I didn't have to go do anything to get that business.
Right.
To me, it's worth giving up that referral fee.
Mm-hmm.
Another way to think about your database. Let's see, who might refer you, Clark? My neighbors would probably refer me.
Mhm.
They like me. My past clients love me because I like to provide world-class service. And Clark, how do you think your sphere would, how do you ensure that they'll refer you?
Oh man, yeah. Bold pops in my head. I know you got the bold shirt on, right? I saw that. So
Yep.
you teach people how to treat you, right? You set
Mhm.
that expectation. One, you ask.
Yes, that's what I was wanting to make sure you said. Is you got to ask for it.
You got to ask for it.
If you don't ask for it, hey, who do you know? They're not going to tell you because usually it's not on top of their mind. Like real estate's your game. You're always thinking, who's going to refer me? Why did they refer me? Why didn't they refer me?
Yep.
The general public, they got their own lives going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just have to ask, oh yeah, you know what? Bob in my office, he's getting ready to list his house. Let me get you in touch with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you got to ask.
Yeah. I feel like just to continue on that, because I know sometimes I felt burned and because I realized that, friend of a friend or friend of a family member, right? They listed their house with somebody else or helped them buy. And,
That
I
gets you
think the
right there.
initial, it does. Yeah, it does. It cuts to the core. And typically we're like, oh, how could they let that happen? Why would they not think of me? And in truth, that's on me. Right. I can only look at myself because I simply didn't allow myself to communicate, right? That or how they even do
Yeah.
that.
Has that happened to me? Experience sells a lot of homes? Yeah, it has. Sometimes it's easy to get. Sometimes we get so busy in our business, we don't work on our business,
Mm-hmm.
and we forget to make a few extra phone calls when we're supposed to. And even though they know you're in real estate, they probably know another agent in real estate. Wichita, they talk about the 6 degrees of separation. I feel like Wichita is at 2 degrees of separation. Everybody knows a realtor, right? But they're going to use someone, so why isn't it you?
Yeah.
Well, if they didn't use you, it's probably because someone strengthened a better relationship or stayed more top of mind with them, and all of a sudden it was time to list. They're like, they could be in a life situation going through a divorce. Oh man, I got to list my house. Who do I call? What's his name called me? Let me just ring up him, right? If you're the person they're having continual conversations with or seeing touches from you, you're going to be the one that gets that referral.
Yeah.
So, testimonials and reviews. Okay. This is one that I think a lot of agents aren't doing effectively, Clark.
Mm-mm.
I think this is the one piece that we can all get better at.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for the referral or ask for the review. I think sometimes we just don't do it. Maybe we're afraid to know what do they think of our service. But if you provide good service, they'll happily leave you a review.
Yeah.
So how do we encourage people to write a testimonial? Well, one thing that I did or started doing was, and I use BombBomb for video email, right? And I would send out an email with it to my past. Start with your past clients. They're your easiest ones, going to give you good reviews, and especially the ones in the last 3 to 6 months because it's fresh on their brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent an email and I said, hey, I'm looking to get reviews. If you had a great experience, obviously we love 5-star reviews. And if you send a review on one of our sites that we give them links to how to, do the review or the testimonial, then you'll get in a drawing for like a $250 gift card. Because believe me, $250 is nothing compared to, a $5,000 check if you get a referral because someone says, man, I really like those testimonials.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would send that out and sometimes I would attach also like a Google form if I wanted to plug in that testimonial to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who's been interacting with the post, and I can obviously see them leaving their reviews and their testimonials. Yeah, Clark, what other ways do you think you could get a testimonial? Do you have any other creative ideas that other agents you've been talking to, how they've been doing it?
Yeah, no, I love the contest idea. Absolutely. Right. I think that's probably top of the list. Other ways to get testimonials. Well, I mean, you take a step back, thinking about our audience here, right? We might have people that are doubling down, learning the basics and been in them for a while. They can reach out to past clients, and yet you might find yourself watching. I don't have any clients yet, right? So don't tell yourself, I can't get any reviews or recommendations. What I love about this database conversation is that you have already invested so much in your business. Even if you're brand new, if you got your license yesterday, maybe today, you've already invested so much in your business and the relationships, right? And so now it's time to take a draw on there, one, by serving them well and making sure you are that good agent, make sure they're aware of it. Yeah, it's time to get a return on those investments of those relationships. So now, granted, it's not a tactic on how to do it, what you ask, Phil, but I would just assert, like, there's nothing wrong at all to set yourself a goal and saying, I want to hit 20 reviews a month from my sphere, right? Look at your Facebook friends. Take your Facebook friends. You got 500 Facebook friends, right? You've got 25 months to hit 20 reviews a month. If your goal is 20 reviews a month, you got 25 months to try to get all your Facebook friends to leave you a review. I mean, you got that many reviews, 500, like that's top tier review world, as if you're looking on Google My Business or Facebook. And yeah, so just in that, leaving a review doesn't mean they have to be a past client. They're just recommending you based on who they know you to be. Right?
Well, see, that gets to my next point, right? What are ways we can take this further on not just they helped me sell my house and they were pretty cool. If you look on slide 28, you can talk to people, say, hey, do you think I'm a responsive person? Do I have good attention to detail? Do you like my level of professionalism? I may have only told 2 houses, but I may be the most professional person you've come across in this business, because a lot of people are not acting very professional right now. Emotions are high right now, so it's very important more than ever to stay professional, and that can help set you apart. Yeah. Are you good with empathy? Do you have clear communication? Those are all things that people can leave reviews for that doesn't revolve around, actually, I sold a house. Mm-hmm. So if you're new, focus on those items, and that will, I think, take you a long way.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do, we have an aha slide. We might take 10 minutes here, because I want you guys to give a few ahas, but I also want you to go back and brainstorm in your rooms around some other things that people could leave reviews for, and strategies for how to get reviews. My way may not work for everybody, right? So is there another way? Is someone doing it better? Talk about in your room who's doing what to have a high level of success at getting testimonials and reviews. Okay. And then write down, I'd say at least 5 people in your sheet there. Write down at least 5 people that you can reach out to after this class to leave you a good testimonial or review, right? You don't have to go send a blanket email to your entire database of 200, whatever it is, but at least there's 5 people you can contact. Say, hey, we've had a good relationship. Can you at least leave me a review? And if you're new, say, hey, can you just leave a review on how professional you think I am, good at detail, etc. So just to recap, write down 5 people you can get a hold of after this class. They can send you a review, and then brainstorm around ways to get testimonials and other items that you can have people leave a review for that's not just buying or selling a house. And then in your room, come up with about 3 ahas that you've learned over this first section of laws 1 and 2. Okay, so 10 minutes, we'll come back and we'll get on to the next sections. All right, welcome back from your short 10-minute break. If you're really, probably half the people are still coming in the room. It's the real estate agents, right? But for the ones that are still actively engaged, actively involved, we're halfway there. We're doing good. So welcome back. We're going to keep going because we want to respect your guys' time. We're on communicate with your database. And there's a quote that I love here. Again, got to quote GK. To succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with a database with the intent of building close relationships. I think this just says everything that we've been talking about so far, that you got to have the frequent contact and build relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And how long should you have that frequent contact, Clark?
I mean, as long as you want to be have a career in real estate. How about that? Yeah, as long as you want paychecks.
If you like cashing checks
yeah, I do.
from
Sure
commissions,
do. Yeah.
Then you never stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Never stop. So I bring this to law number 3. Again, it's the law, so you have to do it. Communicate systematically. I think the key here, Clark, is systematically.
Mm-hmm.
If you set up systems for inside command, tasks, how to constantly stay in contact, they'll prompt you and tell you, your database will say, hey, you should call so-and-so today. You should send them a note today, right? That's what we call systematized in communicating systematically,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in part of this, he talks about segmenting our database. Oh my goodness, what in the world does segmenting our database mean? Well, if you heard the word tags, it's basically just ways of classifying your database.
Mm-hmm.
So Clark, what are ways that you can classify your database?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Overarching, I like to think, kind of separate them into overarching groups, demographically and geographically. Of course, demographically, I mean, I think when we think demographics, we think about the things we fill out on our doctor form or something like that. But demographically being ways that I know them, it could be previous employers, could be my kids' sports teams and the parents that are on there, right? It could be anything that's outside of geographic, right? But and then geographic being certain areas. If it's a sphere, like I've got my Missouri sphere where I currently live, and my Kentucky sphere where I got to build great relationships there. My Texas sphere, just places I've lived. So, yeah, I kind of separate them in those two, but demographically just can be so much, right? Tagging is past clients. That's an essential one. I would say you want to be able to segment.
Those are all great. So, my challenge to you guys out there in Market Center land is to start writing down some ideas of ways that you could categorize your database. At least brainstorm. So when you start getting your database, you already kind of know what tags you're going to have. And you can actually create all these tags inside Command and then go apply those tags to your database and those people come up. And then you've already done half the work. So it's just that much easier to, apply a tag. Yeah. Less thinking when you're in the moment, a little more automatic. So it just, it allows you just to understand who your database is and how you're actually going to communicate with it. So like, for example, on the slide here, 33, there's a VIP, which you can define what to you means VIP. Golf, you have military, investor, referral, dog lovers. I don't have any pets, so I wouldn't have dog lovers for me. You would classify me as something else. Does not want pets, but I know there's a lot of people who love their dogs, and you can classify the people in your database who love dogs because then you can stay in touch specifically about things around pets. Your military, your people at your local, military base. We've got McConnell Air Force Base here in Wichita, so I've got friends who are there at the base. I can tag them as military and have military specific communication tailored to them. I've got investors that I work with. I got my VIPs or my SOIs. Sphere of influence, tennis people, whatever it is, you can start assigning these tags, and it helps you to understand, like I said before, how to communicate with them in the best way possible. And you should have in your participant guide a way that you can work on this. And so maybe afterwards, get with a partner from your class, sit down and work through some of these activities, and think about how are ways I can segment my database. So it's easier because you can also search by tags, right? You can say military, and we'll show you a list of all the people that are tagged military, or pet lovers, whatever it is, right? Or your friends who are going to go see Top Gun 2 next weekend. I've already got my friends. We're set up to go do that. So whatever it is, doesn't even matter, right? Just find something, tag people, and you know how to communicate with them. So as an example, so your dog lovers. Would you want to send them reviews of golf courses? Probably not. I wouldn't think so. Would you send your dog lovers market statistics? What's happening in the market? Yes. So you can have like more general touches, newsletters, etc., that has information everybody wants to know, because everybody wants to know how the market's doing.
Right.
Well, hey, how feels the market? Everybody always asks me that. How's the market? Well, it's amazing. Let me help you. But you have investors, so then you may send them information on investment strategies. What types of, if they're looking for mobile home parks, if they're looking for rental homes, whatever it is, you send them information specific to their type of investment. You can even tail that investor down, because investors really, really general. I've been playing a lot of the commercial investment world lately, and you have people that want to play in syndications. You have people that want to play in trailer park homes. You have people that want to do multifamily, whatever it is. narrow down that investor to like multifamily or what, you know, and just get more specific so you can tailor your touches. But then there's things like market statistics. If you're doing client events, which we'll talk about in section 12, you can, you know, send everybody an invite to your party, because again, we all like to party. We're in real estate after all. So just focus on your segments and how you can communicate with each of your segments a little more systematically, and target those messages to the tags, because then they'll feel like you care, right? If I get something that's not related to me, it goes right in my trash. And then you might automatically from there on forever get stuck in my junk folder. Send me stuff that's meaningful to me. And I don't want to steal on whoever's doing a session 12, but please do not send St. Patrick's Day, let's see, July 4th. What else? Change your clock back, because everybody does it.
Yep.
20 emails, it goes in the freaking trash can. Delete, delete, delete. That's how you get in my spam folder.
Real quick.
Something meaningful, right? Something that they want to actually open and be engaged with you in. And I know I joke about that, and a lot of agents do that, and maybe it works for you, but I guarantee you the person on the other end is getting about 20 more of those, because I get it from lenders, somehow end up on other agents' mailing list, and I'm like, that's just enough. I got too much to deal with.
Yeah.
So send stuff that's meaningful to your people and segment that out. Communicate with value. I guess that's the point I was making. You know, we'll dig deeper into these later on, but you know, there's the 19 to connect, 4 calls, 12 touches, you know, 2 touches that are, you know, items of value, a touch like a party. There's called 1 to submit, and then the 36 to convert, which if you're old school like me, that was called 36 touch. But it's, you know, 36 times a year, but you're staying in touch with them in some form or fashion. 4 of those still have to be the phone calls, because it still matters.
Yes, it does.
And so items of value, I know we'll touch probably that deeper in the remaining sections, but Clark, what do you think are some items of value that you might send out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's key what you mentioned there, right? It all depends on segments, right? If I don't know what that segment is, what their interests are, how will I know what's of value to them? You know, if I segment my database, if I've got first-time home buyers, right? If my past clients, and I also added the tag that they were a first-time home buyer, then it would make sense to give items of value to how to manage, right? To keep up, to maintain their biggest investment thus far, right? How to do the adulting thing in your new home, right? And in my world, like it would be fun, right? Like goofy stuff, like, hey, here's how you change a battery on a fire detector. So you can have a lot of fun with those things, but again, I think it goes back to that segment. Yeah, that's so key.
Clark, should I send you an LA Rams schedule magnet?
No, you should not.
No, you should not. See, know your database is that question. But
Yeah.
if I send him a Cardinal schedule, he'd be like, "This is the best thing ever."
Yeah, there's some STL history with the Rams for those y'all who may not know. That would not go over well. Yeah, to send us an LA Rams.
For you non-sports people, I apologize. I like sports. For here, unfortunately, there's a lot of Chiefs fans. Don't get me wrong, I love the Chiefs, Cowboys fan at heart, but you know, send a Chiefs magnet. I'm also home of the national championship Kansas Jayhawks, Rock Chalk. So, but in Kansas, we're very split. There's a lot of K-State people for some reason, and then there's also KU people. You might want to know before you send a sports schedule just for KU. You might send one that has K-State, KU, and in my market, WSU for basketball.
Sounds like
in football,
tag.
You're pretty safe with Chiefs just because most people, even if you're not like a diehard Chiefs fans, you're going to pay attention. Or I have tons of friends who are season ticket holders and they drive up from Wichita all the time. But know your market when you're sending out like sports calendars. You know, I joke about some of that, but that's real, right?
Yeah.
If you're a diehard football fan, and you're a Chiefs fan, I sent you a Cowboys magnet. Woo, I'd be dead to you in a heartbeat, right? Just know your market when you're sending out things, because you get a lot of, you know, magnets or calendars, whatever it is, that are items of value. Just make sure they're relevant to your market.
Yeah.
I think it's just the most important nugget to take out of that. Let's see. So what we're going to do, there's a little activity here. And I want you guys, we're going to take 5 minutes. just 5 minutes. And I want you guys to brainstorm some things that you could use for item of value. Okay. And see what you might build in to your touch system as we go down the road. Like I said, we'll talk more about the touch system later. Just take 5 minutes and write down things of items of value that could be important to your people in your market that could help submit your value or communicating with value on touches. And then we'll come right back. And we are back. Hopefully, in your groups, you guys came up with some really good ideas for items of value that you can then send out to your clients. And usually, that's just like a couple times a year, right? Put it on your calendar, April 1st, October 1st, whatever it is, I'm going to send this item of value. And that way it's systematized, put it in your database, sends you a reminder, a task that says magnet time or what other trinket that you come up with that has your name on it that people can see it's an item of value besides just another email or a postcard.
Mm-hmm.
So again, systematize it. And hopefully you guys came with good ideas. Maybe someone heard an idea they hadn't thought of yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Phil,
means so many things.
You can. Yeah. Just a thought here, right? Because I know a lot of us that got into real estate, right? We might have, if we're talking the disc profile, a lot of us might be high eyes, or eyes an important part of our personality, and we're people, right? And
Yes.
and here I hear the word systematize those relationships, which is effectively what we're doing. I might have a kind of pushback against that naturally. But I want to be natural in my relationships. I am a people person. I don't want to be strict to it. I don't want to feel cold and systematized. So if that is you, just want to push back a little bit. If you are a people person, right? Don't you want to be able to do that with more people? Aren't there people probably in that list in your database in your phone right now that you kind of like, man, I really do want to connect with? It's been a while. I'm kind of not regret, but I wish I'd actually been able to keep up with them in time. Well, let's stop that. I mean, this is what essentially having this system is. It allows you to be more people, or more human with more people, be able to bridge that. So don't see it as
Just another
cold.
easier button, right? Just makes it easier to stay in touch, have those conversations. People don't fall through the cracks. And then you're less likely to see your friends sign in the yard because you forgot to go send out a couple items of value. You forgot to make those calls. Next thing you know, you're not the person who's top of mind, right?
Mhm.
Systematize just means easier.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it, right? That's we always like to hear. That's what this allows you to do. Just set it and forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And so that's basically what database, making it a smart database. When we, communicate with it oftenly, when we systematize it, it turns into data bank, which just means we're turning it into checks.
That's right.
And then you'll always be closing the ABCs, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're moving on to servicing your database. And oh my gosh, another great quote from Gary Keller. Your job is to build a community and serve the community. Gary thinks of it this way, Clark. He says, my job is to connect with you and put you in my database and be your realtor for life.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks of a database as a community that he serves, right? And the size of the community is determined by you.
That's right.
Only you can decide how many people you put in that database and build a community with.
That's right.
So again, we get into law number 4. Service all leads that come your way. Again, it's the law, so you got to do it, right? So Clark, what do you think servicing the leads that come your way means?
Yeah. Well, again, it becomes that data bank, right? If you're communicating with them systematically, right, and you are able to do that, use that forward conversation, which we have introduced in previous sessions, and yet this might be the first session you're watching. It's a very purposeful conversation to ask for business, right? So this includes following up on those relationships.
Yeah. If someone gives us a lead, what's the first thing we should do?
Oh, yeah. If it's a referral, thanking them, rewarding that for sure, and putting in command.
Call them.
Yep.
Pick up the phone and call them, and don't forget to call that person. Then you can go back and fill all the information in.
Yeah.
But never be afraid to call. Like we talked about, have you ever seen, someone else's sign in your friend's yard? Well, because we got to communicate, right? And we got a service that leads to come our way and not just let it fall through the cracks.
Right.
Know the source. Knowing how the lead was generated will be important to, calculating, where the lead came from. It helps you understand your return on investment for whatever you're doing to get those leads. And then reward referrals. They always say treat the referral source better than the actual referral lead. Because that person gives you one, they're probably gonna give you more. Will I send a random gift card to them in the mail? Sure. I sent someone I gave them a gift card to a steakhouse that I know they've never been to because they're a little more frugal. And I sent them the nicest one in town, and they went for the anniversary and loved it.
Love that.
And I've serviced several of their family members now.
Of course.
Because I take care of them. Service leads to come my way. Take care of the people, and then they'll always take care of you. That's the way I like to look at it. Yeah. Trust your database, right? Follow the 4 laws. Actually, did I skip? I think I skipped a slide.
Oh, well.
We're going to go back. We're almost to that point, right? So, Clark, how does Command help us service the leads, especially when we're looking at things like opportunities, campaigns, consumer tabs inside there? What does all that mean, and how does that help us service our database and service leads that come our way?
Yeah. There's a lot of little icons on the left-hand side, right? And yet you want to make sure that if you've been given a lead, right, if it's a referral or as you're calling your database, you're setting them up on that plan and they are communicating, they've entrusted you with that information, right? That's first, let's pause it. That's not an easy give, right, for a lot of folks. So they've entrusted you with that. We want to make sure we steward that well. Anytime anybody comes into your world, as you mentioned, yes, Phil said, pick up the phone, call them, create an opportunity, create the contact record. But as soon as you create the contact record, create that opportunity. I know a lot of us might see as opportunities as possibly a have to get paid. Yet, if you intend to be a business owner and want to run your business and scale it, see opportunities as a tool that you get to do, not a have to, but a get to. Because if everybody comes into your world that you create an opportunity for, that they've raised your hand because you're systematically communicating, that's growing, there's not a bigger encouragement to be able to step in opportunities. You see it here on the screen, the colorful pipelines, to see that grow and grow and grow, especially that cultivate, to see it grow, that there's more and more people that have come into your world that want to be able to transact and have a need. And now they're in your world, right? So if you've ever wondered where your next deal is going to come from or what the next 6 months is going to look like, well, follow this plan, communicate with them, but create the opportunities. It's a rewarding feeling and definitely a peace of mind.
And it's cool to just watch the progress inside Command, how things are going with your different opportunities, where they're at in the pipeline as a lead is generated, and then see how much money you've made, because it's always kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Revel in the wins, right?
You have to.
Revel in that check.
Yeah.
You work really
out there.
Right? So, Command is great because it really does help you keep track of all that. And just, again, it's just another way to make an easy button happen in your life.
Yeah.
And again, get help. We talked about the answers.command.com?
KW.com.
Answers.kw.com. It's another ready way to help. So as we're wrapping up here today, what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to go into your call times, into your local market centers here. And don't be the guy that just, fake dials, puts the phone up and kind of nod a little bit, or pretend like you're getting a voicemail. Because yes, am I guilty of doing some bold light in the past? Of course. You pretend to make the phone call because it's call time. But when I actually came prepared, I actually started making some money. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. So put some time into it. And if you're missing some information or database, just check on people, see how they're doing. The world's a really crazy place right now. Yeah. And just see how people are doing. Yeah. And just be that friend, be that person there for them, and just check on them. And then follow the forward conversation, talk about their family, their work, what are they doing for fun, and continue to build those relationships, and you'll be good to go in this business. Yeah. And don't be afraid. So I always like to tell this story. I was teaching a database class a couple of years ago. We had a guy who'd been licensed all of a week. And I challenged him to make some phone calls. He happened to call someone and he got a $1 million lead on a house, $1 million buyer. Mm-hmm. Do you think that changed his life? I think so. It really helped him boost himself in the business, because that's a big commission check. Sure. 3% of $1 million is a lot. Yeah. So I just challenge you to pick up that phone, make the phone calls, And at the end of the day, you'll feel pretty good about it. And then the more information you have, the easier calls it gets. Again, happy birthday, happy home anniversary. And you've established a good rapport, and you can just ask more personal questions, and it gets, next thing you know, you've probably spent more time on the phone than you wanted to. But it's okay. I know they just say the name of the game on like FSBOs and Expire just to, how fast you can get through it, make the next dial. On these people, it's okay if you invest some time with them on the phone, because investing in those people now will invest back in your business later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's super important.
Yeah.
So, again, the 4 laws of the database: you got to build it, you got to feed it, think Cookie Monster, you got to communicate with it, and you got to service all the leads that come your way.
Yeah.
Right. So trust your database. If you're building it right, trust it. Follow the 4 laws. Don't quit too soon. Most people are like, well, I called some people, I don't have any business, so this database thing doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of junk, a bunch of malarkey, as we say in the shop. No, you gotta work it. I mean, it's probably going to take you, I would say, 12 months at least for this to really kick in if you're staying in touch with a high level, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. Then it just starts turning over business.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know exactly how much you're going to make. If you start now and you start doing all this, you follow every step of Ignite, especially this session 12 on strengthening those relationships, you could build a really good touch system and strong database by the time January 1st of 2023 rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can look at that and you can say, I know I've got X number of people in my database, and this is how much money I expect to make this year. Yeah. And look at your average, commission check, what your average sales price is, and that's a pretty good way to dictate what you're going to make. And if you don't like that number, dial more people, right? Add more people to the database.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quit too soon. Please don't be that person that quits too soon, because then again, I'm going to see you at Walmart when I go in to buy something. You're going to be greeting me at the door instead of, out there, crushing real estate. Like I said, the 36 touch campaign takes time to yield results. Think long-term, right? It's the long game, not the short game. If you want a short game, dial into command leads and learn how to follow up systematically with those. But the database is the long-term game. Always come from care and service. Always come from value, right? And the real estate business is a relationship business. And if you're coming from value, you're you care about people and you just want to have some conversations, you're going to have a lot of money in this business. It's a great business to be in. I wish I would have done it sooner in life. Mm-hmm. And it's been very good to me, and it's allowed me some really cool opportunities. So, Clark, how does the database affect me? I've started doing some, commercial investment stuff. But how do you get into some of these bigger deals from, I was selling a lot of residential homes as well. Well, I have a database generated me a contact that I cultivated. They gave me 2 townhomes to sell. Did a great job. They gave me a 12-plex to sell. Did a great job. They trusted me with an 80-unit, $2.3 million deal. Think I like that commission check?
I bet you did. Yeah.
But it didn't just fall out of the sky.
Sure.
It took 3 years of nurturing it, doing a good job, servicing their needs, and they like, know, and trust me. Mm-hmm. And that springboarded me to some other really cool potential opportunities in my business, changing my family's life. Because they always say you can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years in this business. It all starts with the database. I got serious about the database in 2017 because the first couple of years in the business, I wasn't really sure if I still wanted to be in this, because I'd had 8-year career in another industry, and it was great. And then the light went off. I said, the smartest people in the room are in real estate. I'm going for it. So I hired a MAPS coach, got into the database, and that's how I got, plaques and trophies, because all come to the database. I don't do open houses. I like my Sunday afternoons. I do not like door knocking. I did that once, pulled a hammy. It was really hot. I said, never again. I did call some for sale by owners. Right now, yeah, if they're for sale by owner or an expired listing, there's bigger problems going on with that seller. And yes, I have done some leads, but I've never paid for a Zillow lead. I've never paid for a Realtor.com lead. The only leads I've ever done are some command leads. But I'd say a good 95% of my business comes from referrals. And those referrals allowed me to buy 12 development lots for super cheap, which I can then go sell them for a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
Or trade them to another deal. Like, there's just so many possibilities to come if you just stop limiting yourself, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
just dive in the database, have conversations, and see where it's going to take you in your career.
Yeah.
Doors will open for you. There's so much opportunity in this business. That's, maybe not just selling residential homes, working for the commission.
Yeah.
Right? There's leadership opportunities inside KW. There's just, it blows my mind the amount of potential in this business. And it all started for me from the database.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge, guys. Don't be afraid. Build a strong database, and you can get to party with them, and life's fun. And that's pretty much the class for today. So I want you guys, before we go into call time, and then I think you guys are also going to work on some handwritten notes. By the way, I want to touch on handwritten notes. Another great way to send notes at scale, AM cards. I don't get paid by them. I just started to use them, and it's really cool because I can take a Facebook picture that someone came to my client event, put that picture on the front of the card, have a script, looks like handwriting, sign my name and send it to them. And they're like, oh, this is so cool. Thank you for the card. You can attach Starbucks gift cards to it. And it's another easy button for handwritten notes, which is another touch.
It is.
You have to have phone calls, but getting something in the mail, I'm so tired of junk mail, and someone sends me something personal. I love it. This is great. They actually care, right?
Yep.
So AM card or a system like that is something that's cool when you're thinking about coming from gratitude, et cetera, which I think is later part of your activity when we turn you guys loose. But Clark, appreciate you having me on. Yeah. It's been good. Take 10 minutes, give 5 ahas on what you've learned, and not just what you've learned, but how can you apply some of this now in your business, and then go be diligent in your call time and really make that effort, and you'll see it rain. Dollar bills in your bank account.
Love it, man.
All right, guys. Hey, man, it's been good seeing you. I've got to go pull some pulled pork off my smoker.
All right, man.
You guys down the road. Remember, if you got a referral, Phil Graves, Wichita, Kansas, Market Center 713, just send that referral my way. And if you have anybody, side note, that wants to invest in real estate or like commercial real estate, multifamily, don't limit yourself to a market center. Partner with me. I'll help you go find places for their 1031 money or whatever it is. Just broaden the scope of your own market. Partner together. We'll make your client very happy, make you look really good. So anyways, thanks again, guys, and we will see you later.
Phil, thank you. See y'all later.